Okay, good.
Nope, it's still not showing you. There you go.
Okay, so really, let's quickly talk about what Customer Bloom, what we do as a business. We're really a web strategy company. We're more than just a SEO company. We have customers in Australia. We have customers in the US. We've worked with companies like Cole. We've worked with one-person operation. It's really not the size of the customer or where they're located. It's about what we can do for them. And this kind of really tells our story. It's just better leads, new customers, and more sales. At the end of the day, that's what most of the clients who come to us really want to have. We do websites, we do SEO, we do pay-per-click, social media, mobile website solutions, applications, video, branding, analysis, conversion optimization, e-commerce. That's basically what we do. That's all the things that we provide. Now this, to most people, is a giant Rubik's Cube. For a lot of the clients that we work with, they're just trying to get the basics of what we provide. And if you look at kind of the marketscape in general, online strategy has become so diversified that you have to kind of know a little bit of everything. But what we're talking today about is what most people come to us about, which is what Drew came to us about, which is to build an effective website and to build an effective SEO strategy to leverage, really, Google. So if they're searching for wireless cost reduction, Drew wants to come up, obviously, #1. So let's talk about that real quickly. One of the things that really we started with Drew and started with all of our clients is to have an effective storytelling process. From being a society that since cavemen have been telling stories, the best thing you can do is tell your story on your website. And that's really effectively being a storyteller from a virtual standpoint. Just like when we're here talking to each other back and forth and we're having a networking meeting, it's the same thing online. You have to think about what your storytelling strategy from your website is. So, this is what I do. I do storytelling from a perspective of on a podium. And I do a lot of these presentations. But what really ends up happening is that if you look at my storytelling, now let's look at it from a virtual standpoint. This is basically the search results in Google. You'll see that at the very top there's paid results. That means you pay to be there. But what we're talking about today is the search results that's right below that. So if you did a search for wireless cost reduction, let's just say, what you want to do is you want to come up without being in an ad because you have to pay for the ads that say PPC. So can everybody see this slide? Because this is kind of the important piece of just going through the process of what SEO means. Because a lot of people think SEO just means in general like being found on the internet. But what we're talking about is being found for free. Because you can pay Google to be up on top. It gets expensive, and that's why a lot of people want to go up and be found for free and be found in an organic, that's what we call it, organic methodology. So search engine optimization, SEO. So this is what it looks like from a result standpoint. Everything that you see from a little X there and the higher temperature colors is called a heat map. That's where people click. That's where people view. So if you want to think about this as in, you really want to be on the top slots, the top couple of 1 through 5 in a search result campaign. So that's what we do. That's our business in general, is to get people to be found where you see the highlighted colors. And this is the kind of viewpoint you can gauge about where people are looking for. So this is the first page of results. So if we hit wireless cost reduction, bang, there's what's going to come up, and that's where people are viewing. So it's kind of interesting to see this. So I wanted to bring kind of a tale of two cities here, which is that what I really want to think about is this as two mashes. Now there was kind of like the mash of before, and then there's the mash later. We're going to get to the before, and we're going to correlate it to something so you guys can understand. So really what we initially did with Drew is we manifested his website authority, and we do this with all of our clients, but Drew's a good example because we're going to have a physical example at the end. But we were manifesting authority through storytelling. And we were using his blog, and we're doing videos. We're doing all the things we can do to manifest the story about wireless cost reductions, TEM services, all the things that relate to wireless strategies in his website. So we're telling his story over and over again. Okay, so if you think about this as kind of like an airplane, on the front end of an airplane, you've got first class, In the middle, you've got sort of mid-range class, and in the back, you've got the back of the bus. So what Google thinks about when we talk about SEO is they think about the quality of your content and the level of readability. So what's sort of happened in the last couple of years is that Google's gotten a lot smarter on how they choose to put people up on top of the internet. They've basically said, look, if you have really good information and people read it or share it or like it or get onto that page and spend time on that page because they're reading it, that means it's good, right? So we can tell that good content should be up front. So what we try and do is get first-class content onto people's site. That usually means really good quality articles, really good testimonials, really good video publications, really good content. And that drives the search engines to figure out that, hey, we've got really quality stuff. People are staying on that page, spending time reading it. Therefore, it deems it as authoritative content, and it gets it to come up higher. All right? Now, there's also the mid-range class where we help also provide another level of what we would call mid-range content, where we're finding articles about the industry, summarizing it, and then putting it on the blog. So this is another level of trying to provide authoritative content to Google so that it says, okay, I see that you're providing good content to my readership. My goal is to have a good experience for our end users. We'll put you up, again, on the top of the page. This is one portion. Again, think about this. And then, again, there's so much content out there. You know, you want to be above the back of the bus. There's so many other people that are writing content, writing information, putting out testimonial videos, putting out all sorts of content. You really want to think about the quality level of what you're providing so that you become relevant to the search engine in quality, not just in quantity. Now, this is where it becomes very interesting. If you want to be the pilot, you become even another level. So with some of our clients, we've started to get them involved in starting their own podcast for their particular subject. And this has become very interesting because now you're coming up as the authoritative leader in your category. So if you have a category of, let's just say, you know how to sell POTS line better than anybody else, I'm making a telecom analogy here. And you could talk about how you can integrate that into someone's story. And then you become the leader, and now you're getting good content, and now you're putting out either a podcast or a video show. Well, now you've got a whole new level of authority within that sphere. And that's when we really come up a level with how we provide visibility for your product or service. And this has worked tremendously for people to gather in new clients because they're providing multiple strings of content out on the internet. Now, if you think about bags that go along with passengers, so let's just go back to that analogy of all the people that were on that plane. They all have bags, and they all bring bags with them. And what those bags are the keywords to your type of industry or company. So in the case of Drew, we would write a topic, and the keywords would be, let's just say, wireless cost reduction, or cost reduction services, or wireless insurance plans now, right? So what we really want to think about is not only the pieces of content and the quality of content, but also putting the relative keywords in those pieces of content. So now that Google can semantically find your content, it can also semantically map up different types of versions. So wireless expense management is also the same as wireless cost reduction. Those different types of keywords need to be in those, let's just call them passengers, which we just mentioned before, which could be blog posts or videos or testimonials. Once that's relevant to the search engine, now your chances of being found get higher and higher and higher because you're bringing more relevancy to the search results for the end user who might be out there looking for this particular service. Whether it's, again, we're using wireless, but it could be anything. Okay, so this is the one thing that we run into all the time. Great, everybody's on the plane, the passengers are on the plane, we're flying along, we got great content, but the website looks like this. So we need to be careful about approaching, also bringing people to the website and getting them through a streamlined process. So we want to make sure that we get that person to the website, convert them into a lead or a customer. You want to have your website looking like this, not like that. And the reason why we want to get that speed of getting people through the process is that because people have extremely short attention spans. So in the case for Drew, we created this kind of three-step process to get people through and sort of understand, hey, this is what you do first, this is what you do second, this is what you do third. So not only creating the content, but creating the customer experience to streamline the process of their mental flow through a website. We know that time and time again, conversions, that means someone going from the website to either a phone call or an email form coming in, is really predicated on how well the site performs. If it's fast, if it's efficient, if it's streamlined, you can get them through the funnel quicker than someone who's fumbling around trying to go through your navigation, trying just to figure out what to do with your site. And that's what we've kind of found as a process to support the story, which is what I've talked about from the very beginning, which is to bring content, but then bring process into this, the back end of this. Now Google, in its infinite wisdom, is now trying to direct this traffic. So they're directing the traffic not only based on your storytelling capability and the quality of your content, but they're basing it on the second version of MASH, okay? So what we call the engines to the website. So really, here's another piece of the puzzle. There is an engine that, let's just say, propels your website faster, and that's really looking at the back end of your, I guess you could say, the components of how people rank or how Google's algorithm has decided to rank your website. So there's about 40 different components that are recognized as ranking signals to put you into place for a search result. So these search results are sort of like an engine, all right? So you have to think about what's going into the back end of your website to support the growth of the authority of your website. So again, I'm going to go back to the second version of MASH here. So what I'm talking about in this case is to manifest the authority of your website through a structured link harvesting. So websites in Google are based off of PageRank. So Google's basically saying, great, you got content, awesome content, quality content, we're going to rank you for that. But there's a lot of other websites that are out there that link to your competitors. And so there's a basis for us to understand that if all these other websites are linking to your competitors' websites, there must be a reason. So they're providing authority to those other websites, and that will put them above you, even if you have good content. So what we need to do is we need to build authority to the website by building a backlink strategy. That backlink strategy is basically an ability for us to go out and harvest other websites that link to you in a safe way so that you get ranked ahead of your competitors. So really, this is what this comes down to, is we have a piece of the business which is respecting authority, and we have a piece of the business which is respecting the storytelling authority. So those are the two sides of the coin that we play with SEO. So really, this kind of looks just like this. There are other websites linking to your websites. It passes along the juice of the other websites to your website. So if you have authoritative websites linking to your site, your rankings will go up. So in the case of what we do with most of our clients, we start storytelling first, and then we build authority to the website, and that brings it up in the rankings. So you can see a site like this, Time Magazine, if you look at those numbers on the top, they have 22 million links pointing to it. So 22 million people or websites are pointing to their site. It's a super authoritative website. Most sites have a handful of links. So that 22 million links, is the example of a monster authoritative website. So obviously Time Magazine would be authoritative. So this is the type of way you can think of that, a good authoritative website will rank, and will rank highly in Google's results. So this is basically what we do all day long. My friends think I'm some sort of wizard. My parents have no idea what I'm doing. They think I work for Google. And then, really at the end of the day, we've just got a bunch of people on our team that go out and hunt down and harvest good quality backlinks to our customers' sites to raise their rankings. So there's a different level of different types of sites that we go after. We go after, influencers in the industry. We go after social media partnerships. There's directories and articles and blogs and forums, and all these have a different weight in how to build the back-end authority of a website. So what does that mean? So here's an example of some links you can see, or if you maybe you can't see, but the reality is there's some profiles in there, there's some blog profiles. I'm just taking a random, trip through, the SEO world of how links are built back to a site. So we do this as a company, and that's where a lot of companies who wholesale us, and we, again, just like what Drew does, we have resellers and partners who work with their clients, and they wholesale us out to their client deck to sell these services. Now, what does that really mean? Well, so if you type in right now, I believe, I can't see it from it says wireless expense reduction. That's sort of what Drew does, right? You can see the ads at the top, but the next two things you see are his website. And those are two stories based off of what he does. So we've posted content within the site structure. It's now ranking on page number 1 for those contents, and it's actually double posted. So we've actually been able to get him to rank twice. So that's now, you think about this over and over and over, and you have all these different keywords. Well, if you're ranked in the first spot, as we saw from that heat map, those sites get clicked, and those sites get the sales. So we can see that, this is a kind of a map over time, and I know it might be a little bit blurry, but you can see the upward trending. He's number 1 and number 2 and number 3 for all these different keywords. So we've worked over time to load up content and authority back to his website to load all of his keyword terms to rank in spots number 1, 2, and 3. And so what that really means in aggregate detail is that his website traffic goes up. All right, so now we see the website traffic going up and up. Now it's 100 sites, 100 sessions per week, 200 sessions. So these are real people finding the website, getting on the website, and creating new lead opportunities. So now it's doubled over just a very short period of time. So we have double the amount of web traffic coming per week now to the site. Just another algorithm that you can see. This is impressions that really it's showing another doubling, and so he's being found for almost 100 different terms every day for people searching. Here's another example. I just wanted to try and bring in the correlation of phone call traffic, because we don't really do, Drew's traffic isn't as aggressive as some of our other clients. It's a microcosm of some of the larger clients we work with, but I want to show you the detail. Same situation. Starting back in April with another client, they're up to number 1. They're a spine surgeon in New Jersey. They're number 1 across the boards for all these spine surgery terms. And what that really means is that over time you see these are phone calls. So we're doing phone call tracking with him, with this particular client. And you can see it starts off with 1 or 2, every other day, and now it's like 5, 4, 6 a day. So that's the real end of the story here, which is that you build story to your website, you build authority to your website, it brings web traffic, and then it brings phone calls. It happens to all of our clients. We work with hundreds of different industries, hundreds of different clients, whether they're big, small, or a one-man show, or a Kohl's. It's all the same stuff. It's content, authority, traffic, phone calls. And it always works that way. It's always worked that way since Google started. And that's what we do. So what I wanted to do was sort of just break this up for a second. I know I went really fast through that, and I think there's probably at least 1 or 2 questions. But what I wanted to do was make sure that you guys get the concept that this is also available in wholesale or for commission-based people. Now, I had this same talk literally at the Channel Partners show for the telecom folks 2 years ago, and I talked about this, and it went over like a lead balloon because I don't think the guys were ready for it. But I do know now that since Drew has referred us to probably now 5 or 6 clients, and we're having success, that there's some I get it going on. So if anybody really wants to talk to me about, either participating as a company your own, or participating as a reseller or a commission sales agent, this business is so extremely active right now. It's almost insane. We are taking orders all over the globe right now because the demand curve out there to become relevant is really important for a lot of clients, because they're just basically, if they don't do it, they just fall behind. So all businesses really do need to do this. So there isn't a business that's going to say, oh no, I don't need to market online anymore. The internet's a fad. That social media, that will never work out. So all this stuff is really important, and people come up to us with all sorts of different stories and needs and requirements, and we're usually able to fulfill a lot. So does anybody have any questions? Yes? Maybe? Did I enlighten anyone a little bit? Yes. Okay, so this is what I'm suggesting for this show. 20-minute call with me. Tell me what your website is, or tell me what client website you want to go over, and I will do a 5-minute video review of the entire structure, back-end structure, what needs to be done, what could possibly be done in the future, what the opportunities are, where the competition is. We do this for our clients who are coming to us naturally, who come to us and say, hey, can you help me out? I'm not really sure what we should do. Well, in that case, we put together a quick 5-minute video, just like I'm saying here. We'll do that for anyone here who wants to provide us with a website address, and again, it's not anything more, it won't be over the head. I try and make the stuff as simple as possible to understand, but still that will give you an opportunity to either go to your client and say, look, I've got something I want to show you, or if it's your own business, we'll show you what you can do. And so that being said, give me a buzz. I'm certainly going to be here for the remainder. Email me. I'm here, and again, we help companies like Drew out become relevant, and we also can help you guys if that's of interest to you. Thanks for listening to me. I know I went by pretty fast, but I hope you got something out of it. All right, thank you.